Hey team, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you all are having a great week of training. Today's topic, I got a tip from one of my subscribers who asked me a question in regards to how do you break a 17-minute 5K, and can you do a video on this particular barrier? So I will tell you, first and foremost, anybody that's going for a sub 17-minute 5K is a highly competitive, driven, motivated, capable athlete. You're not going to be able to hold 5 minutes and 28 seconds for 3 straight miles, or 3 minutes and 24 seconds per kilometer for 5 kilometers in a row with no breaks, unless you are in phenomenal anaerobic shape. And I think the biggest hurdle for most athletes that are trying to run any time goal, whether it's a 35-minute 5K or a 17-minute 5K, or you're trying to run under 2 hours for the half marathon, you have to get accustomed to training at paces that are far faster than what you're trying to aim for in your race. And it's not a quick process. There's no easy way to running a time this fast. You've got to get accustomed to running close to or under 5-minute mile pace, or close to or very near to 3 flat per kilometer pace. You have to get accustomed to that. Now granted, you're not going to be able to run these paces for very long. The key thing is to do this do that type of training over a consistent basis, over a 4-month block of training. All of my training programs and running courses are all 16 weeks in length. The key thing that every athlete has to keep in mind, whether you're trying to run under 17 minutes for a 5K, or trying to break a 250 marathon, where you're trying to run a 10-miler under an hour, is consistent action over a long period of time. So when I get questions like this in regards to what do you suggest, what do you think I should do in order to break a 17-minute 5K, the first thing to keep in mind is doing longer, like I said in other videos, longer anaerobic threshold runs, where you're running at a higher percentage of your maximum heart rate for a longer period of time. If you're training for a 5K, I would get to a point where you can do at least 10K or close to 10K at your anaerobic threshold effort. So if you're doing a 6-mile run or longer, out to around 8 miles, which is what I would recommend if I were training for a 5-kilometer race and I'm trying to break 17 minutes, I want to get that anaerobic threshold run out longer. Not only that, but I want to get my long run out to around anywhere from 12 miles to around 15 miles in length. And I want to start running those long runs at a faster pace. Now, this doesn't mean you're running your entire long run at race pace, or maybe even at anaerobic threshold effort, because you're not going to be able to do that. That's not how it works. But you want to start off easy. Like I say, you're building your base first. You're gradually extending the amount of time you're training at not only your anaerobic threshold, so lengthening out those tempo runs out to around 6 to 7 miles in length, or anywhere from 8K to around 10 kilometers or 12 kilometers in length. And granted, most of my viewers, from what I'm seeing, is a lot of you are not in the United States and you train with kilometers. So forgive me if there's times where I specifically talk about mileage. I'm here in the United States of America, where we usually talk about miles, but I also know kilometers is where athletes in other countries in Europe, Africa, and other parts of the world really focus in on. So that is the key. You want to focus on training at, near, or far below your goal race pace. And it's not just running well below your goal race pace, it's also paying attention to your recovery days, where you need to be jogging, taking it easy, allowing time to react and adapt to the hard anaerobic workouts you're doing. Okay, and it's a lot easier if you have a training plan where you know exactly what you need to be doing on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. It takes the guesswork out of the problem. You know who's designed it, because you know I'm the one that's your mentor and I'm your coach from a distance. There is a lot of free content on RunDreamAchieve.com. I also have NutritionGeeks.com, which is a nutrition website as well, if you're focused on your nutrition, which I hope you are. If you're trying to run under 17 minutes, you have to be in phenomenal anaerobic shape. You have to have a great base built in. You have to have endurance. You have to have stamina. But you also have to know that going it to run a specific time, such as a sub 17 minute 5K, you have to focus on that taper. Okay, tapering it's an art form too. A lot of athletes start to drop 3 weeks out. I recommend dropping 10 days out, because you're continuing to train at a high effort up until 10 days out from your main focus event. That will remind your legs of what you're preparing them to do, and you don't start dropping volume and intensity too far out, so you don't lead into your race feeling fatigued, lethargic, and not energized. You want to go into the race feeling just like you're a machine, like you've done everything in training, you're motivated, you're driven, and you've tapered down at the right time. And again, it's not about working hard. If you want to break a 17 minute, especially the faster you're trying to run, in this case, sub 17 minutes is very fast. You need to hold 5 minutes and 28 seconds a mile for 3.1 miles, or 3 minutes and 24 seconds per kilometer for 5 kilometers straight. So you need to be in great shape, and you need to have spent adequate time training well below those paces, training for longer periods of time at your anaerobic threshold, which is more or less at around 15 seconds slower than your goal race pace, right around that effort. And then you want to spend some time, like I say, 1 track workout per week, doing a VO2 max workout per week, where you're training at speeds that are closer to around your 1 mile race effort, or 3K, 1 mile to 3K race effort. These are paces that are so fast, you're not going to be able to sustain them but only for a few seconds or a few minutes. That is the key to running under 17 minutes. It's consistent action. It's having a long-term vision as well, because the faster you're trying to run, the more it's going to be required out of you. And it's not to say somebody that's trying to run under an hour for a 5K doesn't have to work just as hard as somebody that's trying to break 17 minutes. That's not the case. It's just you have to have that tenacity that, hey, I'm going to keep focusing on this goal until I get it. And that's what I want to stress with all the videos that I make, is focusing on your effort and knowing that it's tenacity, it's that drive and motivation that you have to have, what all successful athletes, businessmen and women have. Anybody that's successful in whatever they do, they're doing it on a consistent basis. They're not just interested in success. They're absolutely white hot, razor sharp focused, committed to what they're wanting to do. So I know the athletes such as yourself that are asking me, hey, what do you suggest for me to break 17 minutes? I suggest getting on the track, doing those track workouts where you're doing 1 mile repetitions, closer to around 5 minutes and 10 seconds to 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So again, you're training well below that goal 5:28 mile pace, or training at paces that are closer to around 3:05 to 3:10 per K, which again is much faster than 3:24 kilometer pace, which is 16:59 5K pace. So you have to, and doing those do longer intervals as well. I recommend out to around 2 miles on the track. Get to a point where, and this is how I set up the training plans on RunDreamAchieve.com as well. Every 3 weeks is a recovery week. We focus mainly on the raw speed of the athlete, where we'll be doing 200s, 300s, repeat Ks, repeat miles, repeat 2 miles on the track. Get to a point where you can do 3 2-mile repetitions on the track, closer to around 11 flat per 2 mile, and get to a point where, as you get fitter, you increase the pace and you lower the rest in between each one of those reps. That is going to make you super tough, super mentally tough, physically tough, well prepared anaerobically as well as aerobically, because you also have to run easy and relaxed as well to recover from all these hard workouts you're doing. So a sub 17 minute 5K is definitely doable. There are athletes all over the world that do this every year, not easily. It doesn't matter, even if you do have to have a level of talent to break a 17 minute 5K. To get in the 16s, you have to have, and if you don't have as much talent, then you need to really focus on your work ethic. You have to want it badly. You can't just be interested in running a time such as this. You need to be committed. Athletes that are running 16s for 5K are driven, motivated athletes. I haven't, in fact, in my almost 30 years of competing, I've never ran across any athlete that ran in the 16s for 5 kilometers who was not hungry and was not determined and did not prepare well for their 5K. They were always focused on being as fit as they possibly could be. So you have to remind yourself of what you're doing, mentally train, visualize yourself doing this. The athletes that are running fast or doing great things in the sport, or people that are doing great things outside of the sport of endurance athletics, are driven. They're visualizing what they want to do. They see what they want to do before it becomes reality. It has to start here. This is why I always talk about mental training. It has to start in the mind first before it ever becomes reality in your life. So don't think of breaking a 7. If you're far off from this goal, don't think of it as impossible. You just have to know that if you're further away, it may take you a year, it may take you 5 years, it may take you a decade to run under 17 minutes. It may take you just a few months to do it. It all comes down to what it is you want to do. In this case, you're wanting to run under 17 minutes, so you need to focus at training at, near, or far, far below goal race pace. On easy days, every other easy day, do strides. Focus on those fast accelerations. They're too short to really build up any lactic acid. But again, over a long period of time, you're literally spending miles at sprint paces. If you think about it that way, if you're doing 5 to 6 100-meter repetitions, strides every other day, maybe 2 days a week or 3 days a week, over a 16-week block of training, you're spending literally miles at race pace, and that's on top of your training sessions each week. So I hope this video was helpful in terms of just shedding some light into what you need to be thinking about to break 17 minutes. A 17-minute 5-kilometer race, or a sub 17-minute 5-kilometer race, and achieving that can be done, but you have to work your plan and plan your work. And if you all have any other questions, if you're at, say, 18 minutes or you're getting closer to that 17-minute barrier, let me know what has been the biggest issue below in the comment section. Let me know what's been the problem for you, and what's caused you from being able to sustain that pace. And if you have any other questions or concerns, definitely leave me a comment below. I'll definitely reach out to you. Or if you have a specific topic you want me to cover in my next video, let me know as well. And if if there's anything else I can do, reach out. I always respond to all my commenters on these videos. I appreciate your support. Definitely give me a thumbs up if you appreciate this video. It helps the channel grow. And I will talk to you all in the next video. I wish you all the best. You can do it. It's a matter of persistent, consistent action over a long period of time. How badly do you want it? Are you interested, or are you committed? I highly recommend watching the video I made on event versus process. It's probably the most important video I've made since I've had this channel. It's about 25 minutes long. I go pretty in depth on that particular topic, and it's very important as it pertains to running a sub 17-minute 5K. So I wish you all the best. Keep me posted on your progress, and I will talk to you all in the next video.